Hello everyone, this is our new video and today we're gonna discuss great performance by Vladimir Kramnik and Hans Niemann in the title Tuesday that happened yesterday. Maybe you've seen some other recaps, but we'll try to bring up something new. And Vladimir, what do you think about Vladimir Kramnik, your like guy with the same name?
Okay, ciao. So first of all, Vladimir Kramnik is absolute legend of this game. He is ex-world champion,
I agree.
and it's quite difficult to become world champion if you're not dealing it. So he, I think, did it in a very tough match. Also, the match versus Topalov. So it's part of the history, like it
If
or not. But
initially he like won Kasparov, even not even Topalov.
yeah, no, I didn't say that he won Topalov. I said
Yeah,
that it was a fake, like famous match versus Topalov. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
even
true.
more famous than Kasparov one. But yeah, I remember this as well. So absolute legend of the game. Also, he won against Jose Martinez Alcantara Jospin in their revenge in London this year. So he's showing quite a good form. And now, first time in his life, probably or something similar, he entered in top three in Title Tuesday. But okay, also except of this, he does some suspicious thing outside of the chessboard. He's well known now about chatting a lot on Twitter, trolling Hikaru and whatsoever, saying that as he said in Twitter after this game, that, well, at least 5 persons out of 11 played fair against me in this title Tuesday that we'll recap. So he wants to say then he won, I think, against 6 cheaters, or at least against 4 of them with this statistic.
I'm surprised that not against 12.
Yeah, but okay, at least probably the people who blundering crooked one he didn't count as cheaters. But he started tournament very well, not very well in general. But this what we'll take a look in the video. But okay, sometimes he just talking too much, I believe. But still, sometimes he has a point. I think. Do you agree, Vladislav?
I totally disagree, and yeah, that's a good question because our points of view with Vladimir are like kind of different on this because I think that somebody needs to cut out internet for Kramnik because before he was like on Twitter and stuff like that. At least he could pretend to be smart. But right now, many discussions like Hikaru Nakamura, totally fair, kind of speaking about him because Kravnik a little bit went nuts. And the worst part of it is that he, like, first of all, a hypocrite because I don't know, he like saying one things. Let's say he accused Hikaru of, let's say, saying somebody is cheater, but he's trying to say that he never said that he accused anybody of cheater. Even yesterday, he accused Alexandra Maltsevskaya, and on Twitter he totally like trying to, okay, by that in my opinion he tries to destroy a reputation of some players by accusing it. And I understand why, let's say, people do not sue him, and because it's probably expensive, but I hope that one day somebody would do it. And it's like, it's not about the money, it's about the lesson.
Here
And
I disagree with you a little bit, Ladislav. You
why?
said in the start that Vladimir Kramnik is kind of hypocrite, but this person, right? It means that someone is like stupid or something completely unfair, etc. But you should know that Kramnik, I don't know what is his real idea of all of this, but Kramnik earned $14,000 already because of this. Let's say this match also Jospin, etc. So I sometimes I'm thinking that at first maybe it was like typical attempt to get some hype, and then he realized that he can also win some money with it, and he continued doing what he brings it. Because before Jospin, before all these things, who, to be honest, who remembered Vladimir Kramnik? I mean,
Yeah, that's true. Because he looks like, a child that craves, really wants attention of the surrounding people. And I think if everybody like just ignored it, like Hikaru, like Gotham, and I mean, nobody would really recall him. But he like keep on giving these occasions. It brings up opportunities to record new videos, and we're gonna do it only once, I hope. And
let's see.
yeah, and this hype goes on and goes on. So it's like, and the worst part is that first of all he really harm people because he works against their reputations. Of course cheating is bad, but chess.com is doing their best, I guess, because I mean, Kramnik, Niemann, they try to hide that they're covering cheaters, but many people get banned, of course, because the main, okay, Vladimir, what in your opinion is the main reasoning for being a cheater or not according to their opinion, or in
Okay,
particular Vladimir Kramnik?
Okay, it's my opinion that if you're a cheater, you want to win some money there. But Vladimir Kramnik thinks that you're a cheater because you win against him. Probably, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's not exactly what I asked. How, let's say, why? Okay, what's the detection method of Vladimir Kramnik? And his detection method is
They're
just,
looking at the percentage
yeah,
of the players.
I mean, first one, the most suspicious is that if somebody managed to take points away from him, and secondly, he doesn't need to prove it. His word is like an axiom because he used to be a world champion, and everybody should believe it. He, with such statement, can say that Earth is flat. He would definitely great do it. And if like Hikaru like says he doesn't have a point, and Kramnik like I got you, bro, and he's like. I mean, he doesn't understand anything. I have so many facts, so many facts. They're so big that you cannot see it on your screens. They're like everywhere, all over the place. And it reminds me, like, some funny sketches people sometimes make. And there's one channel of like Stevie Emerson or something like that. And there was like a sketch about guy and the girl being in the bed after sex, and this guy like, okay, it was wonderful, and girl like, and he asked like, did you finish? And she's like, I mean, why do you think it was great? It was only 2 minutes. And he's like, I got you, that was the best 2 minutes of your life. And she like keeps on saying, I'm not okay, it wasn't fine. And he's like, continue doing this, I got you,
Yeah,
like
that is
I
Vladimir Kramnik.
understand. And then he's like goes to the bro, you can't even imagine what happened. I finished, and she says it wasn't great. So the same with Kramnik. Doesn't matter whoever said to him that if anybody says he's not right, that's a war for him probably. And without any facts, he will say that he's number one. He knows everything. And this hypocrisy, this like, I don't know, it's like really driving me insane.
But the point
So
is that it will be repeated because the other people like Gotham and Hikaru, they're really craving also for views. I mean, they're famous, it's true, they have their own views without Vladimir Kramnik, but still, when they add Vladimir Kramnik, they get more. So it's kind of win-or-win situation
yeah,
for all of
yeah,
them in this
true,
case.
true, true, true. It's like
And
everybody wins. That's true. Like all this hype. I hope at some moment it will be exhausted because I don't know. He accusing everybody. Literally, doesn't matter. GM, MM. If you play well, and this is like the reason why. I don't know. Let's say one of the reasons why I don't play. Second one, I have lessons during Title Tuesdays, but one of the reasons is like you get paired with the Kramnik, and to not be accused of cheating, you need to play like shit. And by the way, yeah, I love how, let's say, Kramnik also says that you heard what. Okay, by the way, do you know what word Hikaru used according to Vladimir Kramnik that gives terrible example for all the children that are watching, like billions of children watching videos of Hikaru, if you didn't know. So, what word did he dare to use?
I'm not fan of Hikaru videos, to be
Yeah, I
honest,
mean,
but
you read Twitter,
okay,
and
just to guess anything, like, I mean, stupid, cheater, I don't know,
no, no,
I
no.
don't know, have
It's like
idea.
the worst word in the like, it's like
I'll never
Voldemort.
guess it. What is it?
It's like Voldemort. You cannot spell his name. So according to Vladimir Kramnik, it's not possible to say word fuck because it's like it's impossible. Yeah, and this
Uh-huh.
is yeah, and he's saying that Hikaru. Like this is all mafia, and you all are on, and you covering cheaters, blah 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 blah. You're a terrible person, but with the same time, he accusing people and my personal pain. You talking about some morals when you go in the 2022 to Moscow, playing in the same time of with in the same tournament with Karyakin, who supports the war, who tries to murder Ukrainians, and
I
it's
mean,
like what are his morals and where he stands. That's the reason why I kind of honestly despise him,
as
even
they
though
say that
he's
everyone has its own moral limits for different people.
because yeah, that's the reason of all the hypocrisy, and that's the reason I still think he's a great player, and the games will definitely show it. But yeah, this I don't know. Somebody needs to teach him a lesson because this guy really irritating.
Which I mean, like I don't know why Hans Niemann can go and make a case for Magnus, let's say, and and Hikaru, but no one can do it with Kramnik. It's so weird.
Yeah, because nobody wants to, even I don't know, spend the time, I guess,
Mhm.
because it would be a good lesson. Because I mean, I'm not accusing anybody. Like, I mean, I just on Twitter posting that
Yeah, that's
this
I'm posting
is,
just yeah, that's typical. But he's doing right. I mean, also once again, because if he really says that this is a cheater, it should be banned. Maybe this one will have some questions to him after all. So I mean,
yeah,
legally,
yeah. I hope
that's what
that
he has to.
yeah, he will be moved away and everybody will forget about him because it's like going really nuts and like there should be the limit to it. Okay, so finally let's go to games, yeah.
Yes, let's go.
And we decided to choose different games from what you might have seen in the recaps. And the first round that I mean didn't expect Vladimir great success with the game against guy with a username Tetrix83. So Vladimir, how do you think? According to Vladimir, this game was very suspicious. Like what are your thoughts? Or we will
Let's
see.
try to see that first, and we'll do move by move, and we'll try to look
Okay.
over this game.
Okay, e6 g3 because there was second game against Alexandra Maltsevskaya, but it's just a joke even to analyze it because I mean claiming that this girl was a cheater, it's like I mean just nonsense. Okay, bishop g2, knight f6 d3. I mean pretty interesting system like that. Andreikin played as well. And I don't remember. Maybe he played against Kramnik, as I remember, in the night title Tuesday, and he crushed him. Because I remember Andreikin was doing pretty the same thing and pretty successfully. So right here, idea of this maneuver is to try to expand on the queen side, maybe potentially go b5, or to see what's gonna happen. A6. So for now, it's all the theory, as long as I understand. Knight bd2, very suspicious move. Bishop b2 developing the piece. I mean, definitely we need to start the procedure. Bishop f8, d4 was like, how does it look like the move that only Stockfish would find? What do you think?
Okay, probably. I mean, at lower level, he just thought, well, if black take, then he'll have isolated pawn and the c5 square, and then the c4 square probably didn't matter much to the Teterev in this game.
Yeah, because d4 is not even the best move according to the engine. Normally, I mean, white can prepare it even more. Maybe white can try to go this way, but d4 totally reasonable. Trying to play in the center, trying to undermine everything. So, double take, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop e6. So I think the fact that right here white got slightly better position is already very suspicious. Super
Very
suspicious.
suspicious. I agree. I agree. Look how this guy with white pieces, only GM can have good position against
Yeah,
Vladimir
it's
Kramnik.
like carries this d4 move. That's like beyond understanding. It's like probably like Stockfish sees it only on the depths of 33, and definitely praises it on the first move. Queen c2 also going to b2. We never saw this idea. It's definitely not the typical for Reti's opening. Yeah,
I'm the biggest fan of this maneuver, Ladislav. It
what's the
looks
big?
always great.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fine. Knight of 3 also, I mean, very strong move. This knight attacking so many squares from the square. That's definitely very suspicious. Of course, probably objectively speaking, without jokes, f4 made sense, trying to grab more space, threatening f5. And if let's say Vladimir mouse slipped, not Chernikov, but Kramnik, and got blundered with f5, it would be just the bottom line after it. It's all evidence already. But knight f3 was played. Then rook d1, knight comes to c4. Just luring the knight to the very exposed position for him. Doesn't matter that it attacks everything. b5, knight d2. Bishop g4. But
And now,
yeah, right now
I know
Vladimir.
our Ladislav is famous in explaining thing, but
Yeah,
how can you explain the next move in this game, Ladislav?
yeah. It's like everybody, including Stockfish, including Alpha Zero, probably would play here f3. But outstanding move of white definitely should be punished by all the legal institutions, because after bishop d1, it's clearly not a it's impossible to see for human eye move like knight b6. That's just unbelievable. And to see that right now the bishop is hanging and the rook is hanging, that's beyond of my chess understanding. Vladimir, you also probably could never guess this coming, yeah?
But okay, at least he playing so far very good. And Vladimir Kramnik thinks that all the GM like below 2550 or below 2600 should lose in 20. So I mean,
All the GMs that like all the GMs should lose in 20. That's end of the sentence to him. It's like this Carlson quote, like he said, every time you play against Kramnik in the end of the game, you will hear that he had better position. So that's like doesn't matter what he does; it always should be better. So yeah, ego should have limits, especially when you like already not the current world champion. Rook takes, control over open file, bishop g2, defending the pawn. How did he see that this pawn is hanging? I like.
yeah, there's some ideas that bishop f3 are coming.
And right here he didn't take on h3. Like for some reason all 1200s take trade pieces. Right here GM doesn't. Unspeakable, unspeakable. Right here he takes. Definitely suspicious. Before he didn't trade, but now
And
he
now,
does.
yes.
That he might be up to something. That's not just it. Not because he played queen c3 and f3. Right here is the move now. Definitely not that. Right now rook c2. Very mysterious move.
Covering queen a2, I suppose.
Yeah. High level prophylaxis. Even Magnus Carlsen wouldn't find it, so definitely a cause for detection.
Excuse me, Vladislav. In
Yeah,
our last, or not, okay, in one of our last videos about Chess Olympiad, where Team India crushed everyone, about to move for Rook A2, you were saying, covering this Rook F2 idea, you were saying that it's great prophylactic move. But
yeah.
now you underestimate
And
this guy, and you
who
said,
and who played it? Who played it? Remember, what was it
let me
like?
remember, Wesley Saw, I think, did it.
Wesley Saw, and you wanna say that
Yes,
it's like the guy with 2500 in Blitz can carry the same idea as Wesley Saw? Of course not.
impossible.
Impossible. And right here, Vladimir plays d5 unexpectedly. Opponent doesn't wanna fix his pawn structure as well. Like very critical, but actually funny move with the engine. First line, as I remember, was g5, which is really interesting with an idea that
And you saw
somewhere
G4.
there is g4. But yeah, this if let's say the guy played black and he played g5, it would be really unexpected. Jokes aside, queen c6,
We might
infiltrating.
notice that Vladimir Kramnik spot the agent first move in the end, and he found the G5 idea.
Yeah,
So very well done by him.
yeah, very well done. And of course, when Vladimir finds the great move, it's because he's strong. If anybody else finds a great move, be aware. Definitely some stockfish in your butt. Yeah. Queen takes f4. Again, defending the pawn. Not the first time this guy is doing it. Repetitive, you see, like dependencies. Right here, h5. Rook here. Uh, Taking the pawn. Attacking isolated pawns again. Incredibly suspicious. Rook a2, f5. Not trying to defend the pawn with bishop with
Bishop with
40
problem.
with 44 seconds on the clock. That's unbelievable. King h4 right here, rook d6. Not blundering bishop e5 at some stage also. I'm just speechless. Taking the pawn, also incredible. And right here, for some reason, e6 is played, losing all the advantage. Probably got scared of the justice of Vladimir Kramnik.
Time trouble. Vladimir will explain it later. He'll say
Not
that it's time
not
trouble,
yeah, yeah,
no time for cheating.
not no time to enter the moves. When you have 26 seconds and already like constantly doing it, 26 seconds is already not enough. But the best move was just like or to take or maybe go rook d7 first, creating some pressure. And if let's say rook d2, then we have f6, which would crush, and the game ended in a draw. And according to Vladimir Kramnik, it's enough to say that it was definitely cheating. Does it look cheating for you? So yeah, if you support support actually in general opinion of Vladimir Kramnik, you can unsubscribe. I let you. Just the door is there.
I mean, I can't do it. I don't say that Vladimir Kramnik is right in this game, but definitely the game is suspicious, Vladislav.
Obviously, so many moments. It's like every single move is suspicious after suspicions.
No, but okay, well, I'll say something. Obviously, a joke. I don't think the guy was cheating, but we should say that was very clean game by White until the e6 move. I mean,
Ha-
he can do absolutely
okay,
nothing special,
yeah,
absolutely nothing that
exactly.
human cannot find. But once again, he played against 27 or how much, 2650, 100 GM, that Vladimir Kramnik, to be, let's be honest, he didn't play horrible game. Like, he didn't play the worst game of his
If you
life.
if you don't
And he
create
was outplayed.
if you don't create any threats, how you gonna like expect that your opponent would lose, especially if
That is
he's
true.
GM?
Somehow, versus 1600 guy, one day it
Because
happened to me. I just went, I traded all the pieces, and it ended up in the draw.
yeah, this
Remember?
is it is what it is. Because like the only like time when he had a better position was like right here, when he maybe could invent something, create more pressure, and his opponent let him right here. But then he traded. Whose fault is that? That you like I mean, lose your all initiative, all advantage. It's definitely not this guy because he's like trading pieces. This is like what every like guy
Actually, that's what he
was.
did in the end. I bet the better is move e6. I don't even sure
Yeah,
that this famous GM Teterev did understand that he was better. Probably
yeah. He
e6
he
draw versus
just
Vladimir Vladimirovich and or
yeah,
Borisovich.
very
Yeah,
sage. Yeah,
easy draw.
that was another like also probably admirer of their talent. With this name. So yeah, I mean, that's like,
I hope you
I
chat your opinion
guess
in comments.
Vladimir, how many games with 400 rated lower players than you try to trade everything and like, okay, how often does it happen?
They try to do it 90-95%, but 5% they just become succeed with it. That's also
Yeah,
a story.
yeah, that's true.
But okay, obviously for GM to
But
play
okay,
for a draw is much easier than for 1600 players
yeah.
to play for a draw.
Yes, that's it, what it is. Okay, next game. Vladimir Kramnik versus Alexander Bortnyk, and this game without jokes is perfect. But Bortnyk lost, so he's out of suspicions today. Before he was.
Because before Vladimir Kramnik was saying always that Bortnik is playing suspiciously, as he called it, and that he should be checked. Okay, after this game, I'm not sure. Also, after this game, maybe, but after event, not because Bortnik somehow managed to crawl in top three with his poor performance, with his poor play.
But he
So
managed
how
to
he can
win
do it?
against Hans Niemann.
Against unbeatable Hans Niemann, absolutely, and that
Yeah.
also is very suspicious. I mean, how someone like Bortnik can score 10 points in Title
Yeah,
Tuesday? What is this?
the guy who has like won this title Tuesdays like consistently. That's
But how
unspeakable.
he won it? Ask
Probably
Vladimir Kramnik.
Chess.com and Nakamura himself cover him. You know, like on one of our videos with this like preview when Chess.com and Nakamura cover from shots. So yeah. Okay, so what happened? First, it was some sort Nimzo, not Nimzo Indian, Queen's Indian setup. I always mix up these names. But right here, g6 was played with a double fianchetto, and like that, by the way, in one of the candidate tournaments, Maxim Vashilagrov tried to play for a win against Jan Nepomniachtchi and got absolutely horrible position because of the same idea of d5. Because I mean, it takes space, and this is one of the best approaches to play. The only thing, as I remember, castle usually involved somewhere. Idea is to make this bishop useless, try to grab some space, and start like pushing in the center all over the board. And that's what actually happened. Knight c5 before. Actually, Vladimir, would you play knight c5 right here?
Okay, probably I'll play it, and if I know that the idea of e5 exists, maybe I'll throw it directly here already. Or c6, more common move
Yeah,
ideally.
because like when I used to play King's Indian, I'm always like, okay, I'm not gonna play knight c5 if I receive before in my
Before.
face. So yeah, there is by the way.
Actually, I'm thinking, I don't know if you will agree with this statement, Vladislav. I will say that if Vladimir Kramnik and Alexander Bortnik will play like much over the board, 3 plus 2, like Bortnik will be crushed. Not because of the difference of the level, but because Bortnik always tries to play this horrible position without the space, and Kramnik, as he showed in match with Alcantara, etc., he exactly understands well this position where he got in this game he will show, and he gets some extra space, every second game, and he just pushing. And okay, it's also difficult to blunder, more
Okay,
difficult to blunder in this
it's
position.
like,
So,
can you make a research and try to say how many games they played once with each other? Because I'm genuinely curious right
but
now if
okay,
you
in the
could do it.
title Tuesday for sure. I mean, I think Bortnik will be better just because you see how Vladimir plays like click. Like I mean, that is obvious. That's why I said over the board. Obviously, in online, like there is no chance. I think for Kramnik, I think Bortnik will crush
I
him
don't
like
know. Over the board, I don't think that. I mean, I guess
just because of type.
Bortnik will even like Bortnik will have more chances at Jose Martinez, in my opinion. Of course, you can say that
Mm.
because he's Ukrainian, but I don't know. It seemed like normal in sane mind suspected Bortnyk of cheating at least.
But I mean,
Rest
I
I
think
haven't heard.
Bortnyk just in general, I would say yes that he's better player than Jose Martinez, so maybe it makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because he's like, I mean, he's holding the positions very well, and his like resource finding ability is just better. And I guess in the long run, he will just break somewhere Kramnik, and this is it. Of course, with
Chat
a
in
good
comments,
day.
guys. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think? That would be an interesting battle. Knight c5 right here. He goes e5. We're not blundering because if bcd. Oh god, my arrows today drunk. Take. Nobody wants to stay under attack. Knight c2, knight a6.
Bad move. Better was 96 for 94.
But like, what chance that you will play something like that in Blitz, keeping in mind that your knight is basically moveless?
Maybe he didn't like move e3, I think, provide that kind of limits this option or something like that, and
Yeah,
he just
because like
become.
after castle 94 it looks alright, but it's very difficult to find. And after e3, you're right that it's like
Okay, I
pretty
mean,
annoying.
after it's not just a difficult to find to play 96 because I mean, if you played e5, you already spotted the pin and like that's something easy for you. But yeah, then probably e3 was a move that
Yeah, the
a bit.
problem with the
Yeah.
consequences. What after? Where does this knight move? And if we let's say get
I mean, actually, I
blocked,
saw some interesting idea. Maybe it's stupid. Maybe 96, c3, c5, something like that. And
maybe.
then,
Because I mean, even this position, if you come to d4, it's still suspicious because this knight might still get trapped right here. If let's
yeah, at some
say,
point.
I mean, probably not because we have knight f5 backup plan, but like, how much time Bortnik spent? Actually, he spent a while. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe it was findable, but yeah. Knight e8 standard maneuver. Usually it's done a little bit earlier when the bishop not crossing it, and somewhere people go something like c6 or something. But yeah, probably it must have been done a little bit before. f5 standard King's Indian idea, but usually this idea doesn't work very well against g3. I, as former King's Indian player, suffered a lot games like this, especially when I
Makes a
was
lot of
young.
sense because white has kind of extra pieces and defenses there with no
But
g2.
they usually have this like bishop on e2, but yeah, the problem is that it's really hard to break through. The bishop is
Mhm.
fast to coordinate, plus the pieces are really misplaced. Knight d6 attacking the pawn, queen d3, f4, trying to desperately find some attack with g4, f3 and stuff like this. a5, queen
Great
f6.
move. a5, I
Yeah,
like it.
A5 great move because it sees the space and prepares later ideas we will see to play something like this, completely squeezing all the pieces. By the way, right here, yeah, probably it's too early yet, right? Because if BC here, there is knight before. But if there was no knight before, let's say, and knight b8 was played, it would be really
Okay,
fun
maybe there's some
position.
c4 as well. I don't know, c4, knight c5.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. But the knight again might get stuck with some bishop a3. But maybe
Yeah,
knight b3. But
oh,
yeah,
knight before
it's
is more
like
simple, right? You just trade and yeah, it's job done.
so yeah, bishop a3 was played. Bortnyk played this move directly with f3 idea, but after bishop moves to h3, it's very hard to continue. So maybe first he needed to rotate his knight. Anyway, c5 comes and try like somehow get away with this and quickly bring as many pieces as possible around the king and try to attack it. But when you play such position, it's not easy. I mean, it's easy to say, but hard to do because usually you are not in time everywhere. But Vladimir continued pressing queen side, and right now through cb, ab, b5. This is a
Finally,
typical,
it's good moment to do it,
yeah,
right? Because there's no knight before with a tempi or knight c5 that you just trade until you
and
win.
this is like actually typical idea of creating outside protected pass pawn. There was a game like between Lilienthal, pretty similar way like this, and cb is a really good move. I don't know why cb wasn't played because at least right here there is no a pawn that will take away all the attention from the position. And right here, by the way, d6, brilliant move. Typical, but brilliant. If somebody played it against Vladimir Kramnik, it would be definitely uh, move for all the
You'll be wondering how
accusations.
can someone spot it, but yeah,
Yeah,
great move. It lets you d5 square. It kind of try to oblige black to take with the pawn if possible. Okay, it will not happen, but still. And mainly the point is, yeah, you go to d5, you keep activating your pieces, and
yeah, true. That's the idea. You want to just get to d5 with your knight, and right now b6, and the spawns are
yeah, so
unstoppable.
actually pawn was, but why was pawn? I just didn't get to it. Explain me, Vladislav. You know everything. Why pawn takes? There is the b6 anyway, or not? Wait, no, I mean CD. Why it was? Wait.
I
Yeah,
mean
because
CD.
d5 is falling, and
I mean
but
pawn is
maybe you
hanging.
just
What to do? I mean
no,
why
you
not
take
knight
with the
d6?
knight, give up c5.
Yeah, but I mean it falls apart.
Yeah, 98. I don't know, something like
But actually knight e4 and knight e4,
94. Yeah, you
bishop
can go
e4.
there.
But still,
Still
it's not
horrible. Yeah.
it's
Anyways,
not it's
but
not
yeah,
believable
it
with this
just
bishop.
yeah, winning position is winning if you player find the best move. So yeah, logical.
Uh,
I
okay.
mean, here's two fault places. There's just two potential queens.
But yeah, it's like respect to Alexander. He still tries his best, hoping to find some mate, but it doesn't work unfortunately. And two
Actually,
queens
Vladimir won very
actually,
easily because at moment of queen h8, there is like how 1 minute on the clock for Vladimir Kramnik.
yeah. So he knows those positions pretty well. I agree. So yeah, this is a great game, and with this game he got second place after Hans Niemann, who was going like without losses before the round 10, I believe. And let's go to the Hans because today video kind of partly about the Hans. Hans won the title Tuesday, but for now not so many words about it because there is a controversial character like Vladimir Kramnik who takes all attention as he loves.
And
Uh,
we'll see new games that this is definitely it's not Vladimir Kramnik game, so it's much more human game. We'll see some very human moves that all of you guys doing it every day
yeah.
in your games, and you know also that Hans Niemann is one of these kind of players that somehow performs much stronger playing from home, right? Because when he played Speeches Championship, he like destroyed West so destroyed Machine Telegraph. Then something went wrong in Paris, probably, but okay, then he goes
Vladimir,
back and keeps showing his
do you
level.
hint on something? Like
No, 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 no,
I'm
no. I'm
just
just saying
don't you dare.
it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, that's okay. Good. Okay, so the game. Actually, nobody actually showed this game, but this game was very well played by Hans, in my opinion. And this is a game against David Paravyan, Sean GM, also who clearly was in top three several times in title Tuesdays, maybe even one, but I don't remember like
But okay,
from
I think
scratch.
according to Vladimir Kramnik, like what was probabilities that someone like David Paravyan can win against Hans Niemann? It's like, just going for a walk for
Minus
Niemann.
100%. Minus
Absolutely,
100.
probably the probability is the same that like one top GM will ban the rook in one, right? But let's see
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, it's like Paragon always plays such positions that are super boring. Let's say there is a line that he plays after knight c3, knight f6. He goes for this scotch with d4, ad right here, and he had some like ideas, novelties, and especially in Blitz he plays it well. But I don't know, don't like such playing style. And right here he goes for trading Rui Lopez. There are different moves: bishop here, queen here, bishop g4, f6. I kind of like because it's more like I mean more corresponds the spirit of the position.
So before, without castling, I mean, there's move d4 also, like that we were playing like long time ago, and there's a very very famous game. Do you know this game, Lisa?
It depends on what move. You mean right here,
d4
d4?
takes queen d4, knight d4.
I have no idea.
It's one of the first. It's one of world championship matches and very famous game when one guy that was last year he needed to play for a win versus Capablanca, and he chose he must win situation, and he chose to play d4 and this exchange variations that was kind of surprise. We're playing against Capablanca in you going to end game where you need to squeeze him, you need to win the game, and actually he won this game brilliantly. But okay, there were obviously some mistakes from Capablanca, but yeah, it's one
I
of
don't know.
the most famous games.
I don't know what most famous game. First time hear it. I know more famous game like with Carlsen playing Bishop G4 or Ivanchuk playing like F6 and Clone Castle with some low mining complications. First time hear it D4 right here, but yeah, like Vladimir was complaining that he doesn't know that much about the history of chess once to me, but here he comes. It's like just
Yeah.
being too shy and modest. So castle, queen of 6, d4. Queen of 6 idea is that somewhere bishop g4 must be played, plus the pieces can be developed this way, and queen placed aggressively. And right here, bishop g5 comes with the tempo. Queen goes to d6, knight d4, bishop e7. How do you think would it be good for white to trade these bishops or not?
For white, I think. Wait, I think I would trade it. Why I will not do it? Okay, wait. Yeah, definitely because he has a bishop pair. I'll take on his own. Yeah.
Then that's the reason why you're not Paravyan because and not Grandmaster in general because he played Bishop e3 because his Bishop is not great and he
Yeah,
tries to
maybe
play
it's
it.
just knight doesn't move out to later very well
But
comfortably, right?
on the other hand, engine gives zeros almost everywhere. But Bishop e3, like probably
A GM move.
makes sense because yeah, we need to choose whether we want to trade the bishop or whether we wanna uh, try to play against the bishop on e7 who isn't great because after knight f6 he's kind of locked up. f3 bishop d7 right here, first inaccuracy from Paravyan who plays knight c3 because this knight going nowhere, it just does zero, like absolutely zero, he doesn't do anything and
I
it's
got flashback from one of our videos where famous world champion Magnus Carlsen plays a knight b1 move in one
yeah,
of his
yeah,
games.
against Parham Maksudlu, exactly.
Yeah.
And way better was to play knight d2, and again knight standing on b1, miracles. Not a coincidence, definitely something is up too. And Vladimir Kramnik would bring up some theory about it, but he's not with us today. And knight c4, it would be a decent idea. But right here, after queen e5, queen goes to the center, white plays f4, and right now queen is attacked, and queen is pretty limited in options. And where would you go with the queen, and why is it so?
Okay, let me think. I have which squares are available. First, we need to take a look which squares are available. Probably if space advantages in favor of white, I'll play something like queen h5 at first.
Yeah, queen h5 was played in the game because white has space advantage, white has potential attack, queen doesn't have a good square. So Hans Niemann goes to the endgame. Like Vladimir's coach was doing that a lot, that we
Yes,
mentioned
the
many
famous
times.
Giorgio Tkachenko.
Yeah, many
Because
times.
he knows that if he has 4 pawns and the opponent has 3 in the same side of the board, you have more chances to create pass pawn and with it to win the game.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter then, like black going for the end game and trying to win, but yeah, let's not talk about that. Right here, g6, great move. Transferring the knight to the better spot so that the light
Unexpected move.
square bishop, yeah. If somebody played it against Hans or against Vladimir Kramnik, it would be suspicious. But when Hans played it, his chess speak for himself. Knight g7, c3, h6, probably preventing some knight g5 jumps, even though maybe it wasn't necessary. c5, kicking away the knight from the central position. Knight goes to f3. What a surprise, Hans doesn't blunder the
Great
pawn.
play by Hans, I must say, because in this famous game between Lasker and Capablanca, that's exactly thing what Capablanca needed to do to even achieve some slight advantage. But he didn't come up with this idea at all, and he ended up losing the game.
Yeah, and bishop c6 was played, rook e1, knight e6. Right now, this bishop is the beast. He cannot be traded off somehow, as the pawn is hanging, and it's incredibly hard to defend. Bishop g3. Right now, Hans continues creating pressures. He's like totally like. I mean, neutralizing all the counterplay of his opponent, trying to attack, being aggressive. Knight f2, right here he goes back, trying, I mean, he forced the knight to move away, and right now he can go to d7 to double up rooks, and right now he's ruining pawn structure. Again, would be too suspicious if it was somebody else's game, giving up the bishop pair, only getting ruined pawn structure. And right here, rook d8, king f1, centralization, knight g7, and David plays knight e4 move, centralizing the knight. Vladimir, what move would you play? Because Hans continued his genius plan, playing knight f5, attacking the bishop, going to the outpost, being super strategical.
Yeah, I think we have guessed the ELO video. Also, we can have guessed the move, right? So, how you can explain this move 94? I mean, I can maybe understand why literally Hans did play 95, half pre move or something, but well, probably he just didn't want to win too easily, right? Because I mean, Vladimir Kramnik before the game said him like, "Hi Hans, look, you play against this guy. He is really big player. I mean, try to make him interesting for the content," and he
Yeah,
went for 95 here.
for people who do not understand or do not spot what is going on, knight went from f2. On f2, it defended this rook, and Hans could have won the game. But he
Thank you.
doesn't need these gifts. He plays knight f5 because, like, I mean, he's too strong. He can win with one left hand. Rook d7, king d7, centralizing the king, going to the endgame, and right now he just, I mean, outplays his opponent really wonderfully. He plays g5, getting rid of the double pawn, but then e5 is unprotected. He doesn't trade knights, creates some pressure. Then he takes the pawn because his knight is more active. Again, he tried to keep on saving the knight because there was a threat of knight f4 creating a fork and occupying an outpost. And after king e6, c4, f5, knight goes to c3, c6, preventing opponent's knight from jumping to the good spot. The game, I mean, very soon will be over. And by the way, if you look at the time, you can clearly see that Hans Niemann has 1 minute and 51 seconds when his opponent already in the harsh time trouble. b5 pressuring queen side as well, playing on two flanks. Bishop e5, moving away the bishop so that the knight could go to f4, getting winning pawn in game. And right now, uh, Paravyan loses another pawn, and the game just, I
Okay,
mean,
from here it was pretty simple, pretty obvious
yeah,
play.
all the
So.
pawns were taken, and the game was over. And this is it for today. Please comment down below what do you think about this great performance of both players, about the Kramnik, who is life coach of Hans Niemann, about the behavior of Kramnik, who accuses everybody with or without any reason. And stay tuned in for next episodes. Goodbye.
Ciao.